Hey everyone, it's Lane with Tim's Nation. I'm here today to talk just for a little bit. This is going to be a brief video, but just to talk a little bit about a tournament I played in this past weekend. I just want to let you guys know the good news when good things happen. When we play in tournaments and things. I don't think it was a doubles tournament, and so I think the doubles matchup doesn't really benefit or warrant going through all of the matchups and getting into the games and things. But what happened was this past weekend at Battlegrounds to Board Games in Canton, one of my favorite stores to go to, they had a doubles tournament. And a doubles tournament just means that you partner up with someone, and each of you brings 1,000 points of a different army, and then you play together against other teams that are obviously paired partners playing. And the two armies don't have to match in any way. You don't have to have like both Imperial or anything. It's more fun if they're totally different. So I paired with. Listen, I'm not cheating. I didn't cheat, but I paired with Ed, who is one of the owners of Battlegrounds and Board Games. I swear we didn't rig anything, but paired with him, he brought his Death Guard. I brought actually the Vanguard Ultramarines that I was ran. Obviously, we're both doing 1,000-point lists, so it's paired down, but we paired together, Death Guard, Ultra Van, and we actually won. We came in first place out of 14 teams. So it was an RTT. It's a one-day, 3-round event, but we did pretty well. And I'll kind of talk briefly about what our lists were and then how we played. But just want to share the good news with you guys when we do get a win here on the channel. So that's it. And I know I've been complaining about the Imperial agents, but I won some store credit. Just so you know, Ed, who was one of the owners, did not accept any store credit. He gave it to another player who was playing his first tournament there at Battlegrounds to Board Games. So I got the store credit. Ed, my partner, who is the co-owner of Battlegrounds and Board Games, gave his store credit to somebody else. Like I said, a new player a newcomer to the shop there. So anyways, I know I've been complaining about the Imperial agents, but I got my store credit. I didn't really need anything else, so they had 2 boxes of Imperial Breachers there, so I did pick up 2 more boxes of Imperial Breachers, which means I now have 3 squads of Imperial Breachers. So yes, I know DJ's playing them this week, but I will keep toying and experimenting with Imperial agents, so you'll get to see them some more. You guys are going to convince me that you want to see them. So we did win, and we picked up Imperial agents. So let's talk a little bit about the lists here. So I brought Ultra Van, so Ultramarines to the Vanguard. The only thing that was Ultramarines was Uriel Ventress, the character who gives any unit, not his unit, but gives any infantry unit any infantry unit the deep strike ability. This is important because in the Vanguard Spearhead Detachment, you have a stratagem that allows you to pick up 1 infantry squad and put them into reserve. It doesn't put them in the deep strike. It doesn't give them the deep strike ability like the old Death Watch Teleportarium strat does. So if they don't have deep strike, then you have to bring them on the table edge, within 6 inches of the table edge. So Uriel Ventress, and this is not something I invented. This is a very common a use of the combination of rules here. But Uriel Ventress gave my 6-man Devastator Centurion squad deep strike. So at the end of every one of my opponent's turn for 1 CP, I can pick them up and then deep strike them anywhere on the table in my turn. So my list had Uriel Ventress by himself. I didn't have enough points to put him in a squad or anything, so he's just solo. He doesn't have to be on the table for his ability to affect anything. And a couple games, I just put him in reserve just so he could walk on, score a few points, and he did that. So it was great. And he does have a 4-up Feel No Pain, so he's kind of, not Feel No Pain, 4-up Invuln, so he's kind of durable and can take a little bit of damage, fights all right, like the Space Marine Captain. So had Uriel Ventress, the 6-man Devastator Centurion squad. We had 6-man Plasma Inceptor squad. Obviously, the 3-inch deep strike's real strong. They're kind of pricey and expensive, but man, they can drop in and hit real hard. And then I had a Gladiator Lancer just to have some kind of some way of kind of holding our home field objective and still shooting and contributing to the game. And then I had 2 scout squads. I've been playing Death Watch for so long that I forget I can take scout squads, because I can't in Death Watch you weren't able to take scout squads. And I'm like, oh, these guys are great. 65 points, infiltrate, scout, uppy, downy. Oh my gosh, they're so good. So 2 scout squads. That was my half of the list. Ed's half of the list. He was running Death Guard, and he had several characters. He had Typhus, who was usually solo. He had one of the sorcerers in Terminator armor, and then he had a Foul Blight Spawn and the Biologist Putrefier, and they also had the Lord of Contagion. So the Foul Blight Spawn, the Biologist Putrefier, went with a 10-man brick of Plague Marines with a bunch of close combat weapons, a couple Meltas, and they, of course, had a Rhino to ride around in. There was a 6-man Death Shroud Terminator squad, and sometimes the Lord of Contagion would go in there, sometimes Typhus, sometimes the Wizard, just depending on the matchup and what we're worried about there. Because the Lord of Contagion gives them free full rerolls to hit in combat, and against like tough targets, that's really good because you can fish for those lethals because they all, the squad has lethals. So 6-man Death Shroud Terminators and a Carnivore. Yeah, so you had one of the Carnivores as well. So it took us a while to tune in what lists we were going to bring. We both kept bouncing things back and forth. I was thinking about taking Blood Angels, the old codex, because the new codex hasn't been fully released yet, and I was thinking about taking those, toying with some different ideas, but then I just decided to do the Ultra Vanguard just because they shoot really well, and if we ever take the Contagion with the Death Guard, where they reduce weapon skills and ballistic skill, and the Vanguard are 12 inches away and they're -1 to hit, that can really mess with people's ballistic skill. And it just turns out with the Dev Sense, with the Plasma Inceptors, with the Lancer, I had a lot of really good shooting, and with obviously the Death Guard units, there's a whole lot of really good combat. And so the two armies just paired together very well. All of our opponents were great, had a great time. Unfortunately, round 3, had to play against a friend of the channel, Zach, and beat him in order to win the tournament. Zach and I are very evenly matched, but every time we play in a tournament, and I think it's maybe 3 times now, every time I manage to beat him there. Outside of that, we're very evenly matched. But inside tournament play, I think I'm 3-0. So he owes me a beat at some point here. Next time we run into each other, I'm sure he's gonna win on me at that point. But yeah, so first round was well, now I'm going to forget it all. So, first round was Tau and 2 big Imperial Knights, a Castellan and a Crusader. I'm not going to go through all the battles just because it was a lot of fun. We had a good time with everyone, but I don't think we learned a lot from reviewing doubles tournaments because it's weird combinations that you're never going to run into, between your combination of armies and your opponent's combination of armies. But all the opponents were great. We had a great time. Always love going to Battlegrounds and board games because the terrain is great. If you're curious about that, the modular train, I think Snot Goblin makes it or somebody makes it, where it's kind of like Legos where you put it all together. They got a couple sets of that. I think they've got 4 tables that have that now. If you're curious to see how it looks, you can always go and check it out there because it's really great because you can build it exactly to whatever the GW layouts are, or you can build it something else, or next edition of GW changes the train layouts. You'll be able to adjust it to that. So it looks good. So I always have a good time playing there. The train's always great, always very comfortable there. So I had a great time. And that was it. So we came away with a win there. Ed and I pulled that off. So yeah, just thought you guys should know. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments about lists and matchups and that kind of thing. Like I said, I'm not going to go through the individual matchups because they're just so weird and goofy when you're playing in that kind of setting. But all right, you guys have a good one and check out our battle report this week. Let's see how the Custodes do into the Imperial Agents.